There's a terrifying paradox that most people spend years before realizing. The more you try to control life, the more life controls you back. Sounds irrational, right? But look closely. The more afraid you are of losing someone, the more you try to control them. And the more you control, the more they want to leave. The more afraid you are of failure, the more you overthink everything, and eventually, that anxiety becomes the very thing that exhausts you. The more desperately you want certainty about the future, the more you panic when things don't go according to plan. The thing you try hardest to hold on to often becomes the thing that hurts you the most. Many people believe they are stressed because life is too difficult. No, sometimes the reason you're exhausted is because you're trying to force everything to happen exactly the way you want. You want your job to stay stable forever. You want love to never change. You want other people to understand you. You want life to remain under control. But life doesn't work that way. You can do everything right and still fail. You can love sincerely and still be left behind. You can prepare carefully and disaster can still happen. And that's when human beings suffer the most. Not because of the event itself, but because they realize they were never truly in control of anything. There's a quote that says, "You cannot stop the waves, but you can learn how to surf." Maybe maturity isn't about controlling life better. Maybe it's about understanding this. Some things cannot be kept forever. Some things cannot be forced. Some things disappear faster the tighter you try to hold them. And when you stop fighting the things beyond your control, that's when the mind finally begins to find peace. Have you noticed something? The people who want to control everything are often the ones who live with the most anxiety. They constantly check their phones. They fear people changing emotionally. They fear being abandoned. They fear losing money. They fear the future falling apart. And because they fear losing control, they hold on to everything too tightly. But the tighter you hold on to life, the easier it breaks. Imagine holding sand in your hand. If your hand stays relaxed, the sand remains there, but if you squeeze too hard, the sand slips away faster through your fingers. People are the same way, love is the same way, relationships are the same way, even happiness is the same way. Many people spend their entire lives trying to build a life of absolute safety, but the truth is, nothing in this world is guaranteed to last forever. Jobs can disappear, people can change, health can decline, plans can collapse overnight, and that is what makes human beings the most uncomfortable. Uncertainty. We want to know what happens next because it makes us feel safe, but ironically, the harder we try to turn life into something predictable, the more fear we create inside ourselves. Fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of things not going according to plan. That's no longer living, that's surviving in defense mode. And maybe true freedom begins the moment you accept this. You cannot control every storm, but you can learn how to stand firmly in the rain. There's something very few people are willing to admit. The obsession with control does not come from strength, it comes from fear. We try to control things because we're afraid of being hurt. We try to control things because we're afraid of losing people. We try to control things because we believe that if we prepare carefully enough, life will become easier. But life never promised that. You can plan the next 5 years of your life, and a 5-minute phone call can change everything. That's why many people become quieter as they grow older. Not because they feel less, but because they understand this. Life is not something that can ever be fully controlled. Some things arrive without warning. Some people leave without explanation. Some tragedies happen even when you've done everything possible to avoid them. And after all of that, what defines a person is not their ability to control life. It's their ability to adapt when life refuses to go their way. A strong person is not someone who has never fallen apart. A strong person is someone who stays calm in the middle of chaos. Someone who keeps moving forward when plans collapse. Someone who remains kind even when life feels unfair. Maybe true peace does not come from the outside world becoming stable. Maybe it comes from becoming strong enough inside yourself to face whatever happens. Because in the end, you cannot control the wind, but you can always adjust your sails. Maybe one day, You'll look back at the period of your life when you were panicking, trying to keep everything under control, and realize this: the thing that exhausted you most was never life itself, it was the constant war inside you, wanting everything to happen exactly the way you wanted, wanting to hold on to people who no longer wanted to stay, wanting to stop things that were already changing, wanting to control a future that was never guaranteed. But life is like water: the tighter you try to hold it, the faster it slips away. And maybe maturity is learning this: not everything you lose is a failure, not every disaster is the end, not everything outside the plan is bad. Sometimes, the very things you cannot control are the things leading you where you truly need to go. So if your life feels chaotic today, if something beyond your control is making you feel powerless, remember this: you do not need to control everything to be okay. You only need to become strong enough to face what you cannot control. And sometimes, true peace begins the moment you stop trying to control life. If this video touched you, comment, "I will learn to let go at the right time," and follow for more content that helps you become stronger from within.